Hey there guys, how are you? Welcome back to another awesome video, and today's movie review is going to be of Walk the Line. So Walk the Line, to really put it quick, simple, and easy, is the life of Johnny Cash. So this movie is directed by James Mangold, who we've talked about a little bit before, and maybe we'll talk a little more on him, but we've talked about him before. But nonetheless, let's kind of go, before we get into my thoughts on this movie, I do want to point out that I'm not a huge Johnny Cash fan. I'm not gonna act like I know everything, like I'm an expert on this guy or anything like that. I have heard some of his songs before. I know that he is considered a legend. He's considered an icon throughout music. And the funny thing is, I never really quite wasn't sure what type of music he really did, because it didn't feel like country. It didn't feel fully rock. I didn't know what his music was other than just music. That's where I stand, so I'm not gonna act like I know everything with this. And the reason why I also point that out is because there definitely are some things that we'll talk about later that I'm not sure really were 100% accurate, to say the least, and some things that we'll definitely touch on later. But I think from what I know and from what I've seen just based on this movie, Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash, I think he captures this really well. And not only that, Joaquin Phoenix is just a phenomenal actor, and I think he's like a fantastic method actor. He really knows how to get into the mindset or the body language of characters. He captured that so well with Joker, and I feel like he captures that very well with Johnny Cash. Because I've noticed, like, even the way he holds the guitar, he holds it so, like, as if it's so heavy, and he's like slouching and having his shoulders like lean and kind of give like a slight like weird posture to him. He even like commits to that, and I don't know if Johnny Cash really did that, but the point I'm making is, even if Johnny Cash did that a lot with his guitar playing, like Joaquin puts in that 110%, that 120% sometimes with his roles. And also I gotta say that Reese Witherspoon really holds her own with someone like Joaquin Phoenix. Not that I don't think that she can't act, but it's the fact of, like, you have Joaquin Phoenix, who is a award winner and a nominee for the Academy and all that stuff, and Reese Witherspoon holds her own as playing Judy Carter, which I think she's fantastic. She holds her own with Joaquin Phoenix, and the two of them, their chemistry, you can definitely feel there's chemistry between the two of them that start to converse and start to spark between the two. It's a little sweet. I don't know, again, how the relationship was, but that's what it kind of comes off as. It has its hurdles, its ups and downs, it has its roadsides and its walls and all this other like crazy commotion that happens with this relationship. Those are really the only two that stand out to me. I will give credit to Jennifer Goodwin and Robert Patrick for playing both Johnny Cash's ex-wife or wife, because I guess in this movie, I don't know how 100% accurate this is, but Johnny Cash had a woman when he had an affair with Judy Carter. I think Jennifer Goodwin is good in the role, and I think Robert Patrick is fine in the role of Johnny Cash's father. He plays a dirtbag, basically, when it comes to his dad, but I think he plays it fine. I think everything else seems great. The atmosphere is also great. It gives you that feeling and that setting that you're in the I want to say it's like it transitions from the 1950s to the 1940s to the 1960s. It gives you that aesthetic. It gives you that feel with the clothing and the colors and all that stuff. One huge thing that I will definitely also add with Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash is I like that he commits to the voice. And I think he almost does a really good spot-on voice for Johnny Cash. It almost sounds like him, even outside of his singing voice. Even when Joaquin is singing, I buy that that is him doing a Johnny Cash impression, or that's him doing his own vocals and using his own voice. And the reason why I point that out is because a lot of biopics, not every biopic, but a lot of biopics, there are many times where you have an actor that plays a singer and they use a lot of stock footage or old recordings of the actors when they sing. Sometimes that works, sometimes that might not work. For example, one that works is Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury. At first, I thought that was Rami Malek trying to sing like Freddie Mercury, but I later found out it was mainly recordings they had of Freddie Mercury on display and on file to basically say, hey, we don't know how you're gonna sing as Freddie Mercury or whatever their deal is, why they didn't have him sing as Freddie, but they had the archival footage of his voice being used for whenever Rami Malek's Freddie Mercury sung. But with Joaquin Phoenix, this is his voice. This is him. At least to me, this is what it seems like. This is what I'm thinking. From what it looks like, legitimately, that Joaquin Phoenix sung, and they didn't get Johnny Cash recordings or old files of his singing voice. So I'm going to say that Joaquin used his own voice compared to, say, other times that other biopics have done that. I mean, freaking Austin Butler did all the singing as Elvis, if I remember correctly too. So it's not like it's every biopic does recordings or old singing files and audios of these people in history. Actually, you know what's been really funny about this movie is this movie like once or twice referenced Elvis, and even I think if I remember correctly they said that, or they kind of show that both Johnny Cash and Elvis debuted or performed at the same stage that one night. The same stage that we saw, or that same stage, or that same concert that we saw in Baz Luhrmann's Elvis movie. So I think it would have been funny if maybe the Elvis movie referenced Johnny Cash and then Johnny Cash movie referenced Elvis. Maybe. For this, I'm not sure if I really like or if I dislike, because the thing is, with biopics, they're not always 100% accurate with everything, and sometimes they need to be, and sometimes they don't need to be. Obviously, they do this to make this fiction, number one. Number two, they do it to stretch out the movie, its runtime probably, or if they want to maybe emphasize on something like, oh, because this happened in the fictional movie, we want you to empathize or sympathize with the main person at hand here. Basically, Johnny Cash in this movie is depicted as he didn't have the best life. And quite honestly, not all these musicians and artists had the perfect life. They obviously had their rough edges and their demons and everything else, but the way Johnny Cash is kind of depicted, I don't know if it's fiction or if it's actually fact. Like, for example, how much Johnny Cash really took drugs and really almost overdosed, his shit childhood and the affairs that he has, and all these other things that happen in this film. I don't know how much is true and how much it is false. The reason why I want to emphasize on that is because if this is just fiction, I get it's good storytelling, but it feels also like not the best writing for it. If this is all true, then this kind of gives us a uncomfortable look at Johnny Cash. And I'm not trying to make it sound like we need to see all of these big iconic people and famous people as people on pedestals. And yes, like, again, people have their demons and have their dark side and rough edges. But something about, if this is all fact, something about some of this stuff feels a little bit uncomfortable seeing and thinking Johnny Cash in this way. So I don't know how much this is true and how much of it this is fiction. If it's fiction, then this is understandably, again, good storytelling. But yet, at the same time, it just doesn't feel right. Like, it doesn't feel like the best writing. It feels kind of, not terrible, but just kind of does feel terrible. And if this actually did happen, then this gives us a different depiction of Johnny Cash. And then again, maybe that's the point, but there's just something uneasy about, whether this is fiction or fact, there is something uneasy about this portrayal of it. But I still like this movie overall, and I feel like there might have been a missed opportunity, or maybe I had a little bit of an expectation that I was thinking that the movie would have ended differently. Like maybe Joaquin Phoenix would have sung Hurt, obviously Johnny Cash's final song, and that's how they would have ended it. I don't know, maybe it was because it was too soon, because Johnny Cash died in like 2003, 2004, and this movie came out, I want to say 2005, 2006, something like that. So maybe they didn't want to touch on that song, but I thought there was something, I feel like there could have been maybe a little opportunity to do. I don't know. But I will still say that I'm going to give Walk the Line, I am going to at least give it a solid B. maybe a B plus, but I think I'm gonna stick to it being a solid B. So, Walk the Line, have you guys seen it? What did you think of it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And also in the comment section, let me know some of your favorite biopics, maybe music biopics or anything music related. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do awesome videos every day, every week. Make sure you ring that bell to new videos every week. Share the video with your family, friends, all the good stuff and more. Leave some suggestions in the comment section. You name it, I'll look into it as best as possible. Look out for more movie reviews. Look out for some top 10s we got as well. Some TV show reviews, streams, gaming streams, a bunch of other stuff as well to look forward to throughout my schedule and throughout just in general. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.